Welcome everybody to the Hot Take. I'm here with Alyssa from Portland. How's it going, Alyssa?
Great, thank you. How are you today?
I'm good. It's a nice, beautiful Saturday afternoon out in New York City. We're
It's
finally
nice here
getting,
too.
yeah, we're finally getting some spring weather. Um, but how do you like Portland? How is it in Portland right now?
I love Portland anyway. And the weather started getting really nice last week, and then it got yucky again for a few days. It happens sometimes in spring where it aggressively tries to be summer, and then everyone's really excited. And then at the end of like a week of hot weather, they all complain, and then they're like, "Oh my God, it's going to be rainy again soon." And so we're just about to approach that period, I think. But right now, it's sunny outside. It's so sunny, I could not open the blinds because it kind of washed the room out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just super nice.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that. So let's tell everybody a bit more about you. Where are you from and what do you do?
So I'm from Portland, technically. I grew up in Milwaukee. It's like 20 minutes south, which isn't super far away, but it's definitely far enough away to not have been in the city. But I did grow up in Portland, more or less. I went to the Rose Parade and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I'm a native Portlander, and I currently do data entry right now. I assist legal firms if I want to make it sound fancy, but I basically am like I'm like an e-receptionist. People don't see me, but I answer the phone and I put words onto documents. That's all I do. But I work with Ara. She helped me get the job, so it's really nice. I get to hang out with a bee while I'm there.
Yeah, that's really great. Um, so being from Portland all this time, do you like get all the stereotypes of Portland? Do you feel like those are real? Like there's a show Portlandia now. Um,
Yeah.
do you feel like people see Portland for what it is from the outside, or are we all missing something about your city?
I've always said that Portlandia is accurate for like the first 5 minutes, and then it just gets crazy. So it's definitely true. Like I haven't seen a whole lot of it, but like I think the put a bird on it episode, there are like little niche art shops and whatnot, but
Mhm.
like none of them are that wild. Um, so yeah, it's kind of accurate in the terms of like people have that general attitude of being very laid back. It definitely it's it didn't used to be so pronounced,
Mhm.
and I feel like people the more they see Portlandia, it's becoming like a self-fulfilled prophecy. Things are getting a little weird. There's a little coffee shop out on my street that just specializes in pour overs. So all they have like five rotating like pour over coffees, and I don't even think they have like milk and sugar down there. That's wild to me. And I guess I imagine that they do have like the little tiny cups that they had in the Portlandia coffee episode.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe it's becoming Portlandia. It didn't always be this way.
Yeah. So, uh, how did you find Killer Queen? Did you just stroll into ground control one day, or was it a friend of a friend?
Kind of. Actually, incidentally, and I just made this really funny connection. The first time I played Killer Queen was Miranda's, like Haley's sister. It was her
Hmm.
birthday. I always forget that. I went to ground control every now and then, like every few months before I started playing Killer Queen, and I dragged her birthday party to ground control just because I wanted to go. And then someone taught us. I didn't get it. They were like run around and jump up here and there's the snail, but like don't get on it. And I was like, why is it even there? So I was really confused, and I think I blocked that memory out for a long time. um, but yeah, I just went one night. I really wanted to go to ground control, and I finally found someone to go with me. My friend other Alyssa, some people know her, and Scott dragged us in. He wasn't the first person to ask us to play that night, but he was the first person to ask us to play that I didn't think was like creepy. It was a Friday night, so it wasn't anyone who plays regularly. It was like some drunk guy. I was like, "Hey, come play with us," and it was like, "No." But yeah, Scott got us to play, and he told me that there were free drinks at the tournaments, which one happened to be that next week. So I came back the next week for free drinks, and then I came back every week for ever.
Well, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, just losing every
Yeah,
Friday night or whenever it is you guys go out
yeah.
to this game at this point. Um, what
hmm
games did you play before Killer Queen?
at ground control, I would play DDR, and my sister and I really liked to play Paperboy and Burger Time.
Hmm.
I liked to play like some of the weirder games. Burger Time is really fun. Um, I also really liked Cubert, but
Oh
Cubert's
yeah.
not on the floor right now. As far as other games go, I like more relaxing games. I really don't play competitive games. I do like Harvest Moon, and I'll do different RPGs. Like Earthbound and Grandia were favorites when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but I really enjoy Final Fantasy 14 now.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Awesome. And so I think a lot of people might know you not just for your great queening, but for the costumes you bring to lots of different
Yeah.
tournaments. What's the story behind the costumes?
Um, I've always enjoyed dressing up and having fun. Actually, my second tournament at Ground Control was a Halloween tournament, and I dressed up.
Hmm.
And like my brother-in-law Isaiah and I think we're the only two who dressed up that night. Which, being my second tournament, I was like, this is awkward. But I also was just like, this is just what I'm gonna do, I guess.
Yeah.
So I always dress up when I have the opportunity, and I always I've had costumes in the past for anime conventions, so I'm just used to it. Um, so whenever people will let me, and especially whenever people will dress up with me,
Yeah.
I always take advantage of that.
Do you have a favorite cosplay that you've ever done or a costume?
I've done Belle from Beauty and the Beast in the ball gown,
Hmm.
and I have some really amazing photos of that. Haley helped me with the hair. My mom made the dress, and my husband had a big. It wasn't like a fursuit. It was like pieces of fur glued together with like clay horns and hands attached, and he wore these big boots, and it was really cute. So that one's my favorite for sure, just because the pictures were fun to take and it was really pretty.
Yeah.
And I went to birthday parties for a while. It was great. It was my favorite. I wore it to ground control for Halloween once, and that was a bad choice. I almost won $100. Almost.
For a costume contest or something else?
hmm
Nice.
Yeah, that was the second Halloween that I went.
Yeah. And so just to get on one more personal topic, what's your favorite music? I think you mentioned Panic at the Disco beforehand.
Yeah, it's embarrassing because it's Panic at the Disco, but I'm very loyal. So Panic at the Disco was the first band I ever saw in concert,
Hmm.
and I just decided I would love them no matter what, and it's held true. I force myself to like their albums. If I don't like it, I just keep listening to it. But as far as actual music goes, I like indie and soft rock. One of my favorite bands is called Tango Off a Tango, and they're actually a local band here. So I see them when I can.
Awesome.
It's very relaxing music for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can all get that kind of die-hard loyalty to an old band that has a special place in our heart. I know I
Yeah.
do. But most of my bands are broken up now. I'm re-
Oh,
I miss System of a Down every
that's
day,
tough.
you know?
Oh,
No,
the
I
trick
really
is
don't
to
though.
find a band with someone. You gotta find a band with someone who's so conceited that they like Brendan Urie. He just became a one man show. Well,
Yeah.
he has people who help him out, but it's just Brendan Urie now.
Yeah. Let's
So,
move on to some audience questions. Nathan Palmer out of Minneapolis is asking right away, at BB3, can he pet your dog?
of course, anyone if my dog is like in your view, and more specifically, I guess within reaching distance, he'll please pet him. He will love it. He'll pretend like he's like, oh, this is fine, I guess. And then he'll stop, and then he'll look at you with heartbreak. But I also hope Nathan, I think Nathan asked if you could stay at my place with your wife. Please do. We would love to have you. So, and if you can, the dog will go up and sleep on the couch with you, you know,
Yeah,
if that
Asher
works.
Asher is actually stepping it up to the next level and asking if he can have your dog.
No.
Completely
How many times do
reasonable.
I have to tell you no?
He's persistent.
um, he's very persistent. I guess I can't blame him. You can babysit, maybe.
All right. Well, there it is.
That might be an agreeable solution.
um, Chris Larson, or otherwise known as Ruffles out of Phoenix, is asking which Sailor Scout is the best.
Um, I've always liked Sailor Pluto. I don't know. Uh, Not even for like any sturdy reason. She's just always been kind of my favorite. She's very cool. Uh, I guess I like the I don't know. She's very cool. If we're gonna talk about best though, like if we're going to get into the nitty gritty, like I do have to say Sailor Moon, but there is a little bit of bias there.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the show is just like named after her, so like whatever.
It is named
She's
after
probably
her,
important.
and yeah, she has the morale thing going for her, which is always important.
Yeah.
And she's a doofus. So
Moving on to the
that's
next
good.
question. Asher is asking, put yourself in these shoes. Imagine it's day famine and the snail is stuck in the tunnel. Would you rather have Neil with speed as a warrior, or would you rather have just 3 vanilla warriors?
Oh, so Neil's the only warrior and he's a speed warrior,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna guess this is like the end tunnel, like we're talking about, like it's at the end
I think it's in the middle
or
tunnel.
in the middle.
I think it's in the middle.
I would honestly, I think I'd rather have 3 vanilla warriors because I don't. It depends on what the other team situation is like. If the other team has like 1 warrior and a queen, I'll take that bet and I'll go in with Neil as a speed warrior. But if they have other warriors up, I wouldn't want to put Neil in the position where I have to be down there to help and then we both get swarmed.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
No, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think it depends on what's going on the other team.
Yeah. I mean, that's an entirely reasonable answer. I definitely would
Yeah,
take.
and I'm also gonna assume the vanilla warriors are careful, but
Yeah, yeah. You need a bit more
yeah,
patience with vanilla. And then our last audience
yeah.
question, I think, is going to be from Logan. What is your favorite kind of bee? Is there some kind of joke here, or?
No, I don't think there's a joke. If there's a joke and I'm missing it, I'm sorry. I really like bumblebees, primarily because they bumble. They're very clumsy,
Uh-huh.
and I was watching because from the pool party, my aunt she gardens a lot. I don't know if you guys noticed all of the flowers, but she was talking about how you can just like ignore bumblebees. They'll run into you
Yeah.
because they like flop all over while they fly. It's very cute.
Yeah, I was reading like a PSA. It was like, oh, these bees will bump into you, but they won't actually sting you.
They
So like.
so don't need it. They're just like they're like when you were in college and you had the really lively friend who might actually be me, who's really drunk and just like running around and like talking to everyone and being a doofus, bumping into everyone. So they're just sweet.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
Save the bees. Let's see.
Save the bees.
So let's get into Killer Queen. What made you want to queen?
Um, so at first I was really nervous about it. I was so nervous about queening that my hands would go numb.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I was able to survive a game and people were cheering me on. And I realized like I just really liked that energy of people being supportive. And when I did well, people would cheer for me. And I'm gonna be honest, like that's it. Like I just want people to cheer for me. Yeah, I'm a little bit vain. So I just yeah, I liked the attention, maybe.
I mean, I can.
Also,
Yeah, go ahead.
you can relate.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah, hopefully everyone can at least a little bit. Otherwise, I'm really embarrassed. But also, when I started queening, it was like 2 years ago, and there just wasn't a lot of queens. Watching Anna Queen was really inspiring for me, and it was such a bummer that like you could watch a whole tournament and there wouldn't be a single female queen, or maybe there would be a couple. But yeah, at that time, it was like I want to do this. And now there's a lot more female queens. I don't know that I was necessarily a role model for them, but um, there's more queens now, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've been a role model for a lot more, and not just for women out there in the scene. So, I've really enjoyed watching your play, and it was fun to finally
Thank you.
like get to chat with you and even commentate with you at GDC. That was a lot
Oh
of
my
fun.
gosh, that was so fun. I
um,
love commentating. It was a
how
lot of fun.
how did you enjoy GDC? It seemed like you guys had a lot of fun for sure.
Oh, of course. I always have fun. I goofed a little. That's all right. But we went in having a lot of fun. It was Monica's first time being a warrior in a tournament. It was actually only her second tournament that she played in, so that was really cool. And then for Julie and Monica, and why is this so hard for me? Desi and Jason.
Yeah,
How many people were on my team? Am I missing this up?
I think that's
Oh, I said Monica twice.
yeah, yeah.
That's fine. Anyway, so it was all their first time traveling too. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it was a blast. We all had a good time. The costumes were awesome,
Yeah. No, absolutely.
and that wasn't my idea, by the way.
Yeah. So what was
They
the
pushed it.
idea for that? Who came up with it?
It was a conversation, and I can't remember. I think I tried asking. I was like, "Whose idea was the Scooby Doo?" It was a conversation. It was kind of one of those things where we started with one idea. We were going to do like an '80s theme for a little bit, and then someone brought up Scooby Doo. I want to say it was Desi,
Hmm.
uh, and she immediately called on. Well, I think Scrappy is what she went with in the end, but she went with Scooby Doo. Jason just looks like Shaggy. Like it's
Yeah,
Shaggy.
he really did. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
um, yeah, and Monica and Julie just embodied their characters so well. So it was really exciting. It was just a group thing. It was fell into place like dominoes.
Yeah, I mean, I will say you rocked the ascot, so I thought it was a very, very nice
Thank you.
touch. Um,
Which is good because it was orange and I hate orange.
no, it all came together perfectly. So how do you feel? How do you feel about being a queen right now? A lot of queens are feeling like this is a really weak point for queens in the meta or in the current build.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I've had to change my play style, and it's been really hard for me to switch it up. I used to try and be an anchor for my team, and you can't anymore without playing very, very dangerously.
Hmm.
Um, it is a lot about patience. I wouldn't say it's necessarily boring. And like I said earlier, I really like playing for people to cheer for me. So it's definitely a more low key game.
Hmm.
But I think for a queen to be able to hold on as like a back support for their team, it might involve slower, more careful play. But if you can pull through in those really dangerous moments when your team needs you, I think it's just as exciting.
Yeah.
Uh, though I wish the games were shorter.
Yeah, I think we can all relate with that. Besides
Yeah,
the people who are all about famine, what's your stance on famine?
I hate famine as much as everyone else. I want to say I hate it more than everyone else, but I don't think that that would be fair. Um, Famine is exciting and liberating when you win, but it's really easy to just get angry about it when you lose, and it's just not fun. Um, it involves a level of knowing when to dip down and be stupid. There's two options. I feel like in famine as a queen, you either dip down and you do something stupid that could get you killed, or you just hang out on the ceiling and you don't do anything. And I think those are both terrible options. It'd be really nice if there were a third option.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll find it. Maybe it's there and I just don't know because I don't pay enough attention.
Well, it's only a matter of time until someone uncovers it. So I'd love to see it
Yeah.
come out of Portland. Um, so
We'll do it. It's a challenge.
Yeah. So whenever you're not queening, because I know it's everybody wants to queen in some sense. What do you fall back to? What do you do when you're not in the middle?
I It depends. I either want to play vanilla warrior, primary vanilla warrior, or I want to run berries. The snail's okay too, I guess. But I ran berries for 6 months before I even started to warrior for
Hmm.
tournaments, which is a long time now, I think. A lot of people like to switch earlier than that. So I just love it and I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah.
I'm also really good at bouncing people into my queen. So that's always very satisfying. Or like I said, safe warrior. I don't speed warrior. I think speed warrior is, I don't know. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's a crutch.
So you mentioned your history with berries. Are you excited to see berries becoming a more prevalent strategy now?
I really am. Um, 2-2 berries is just it involves so much more cohesion, I think, as a team. And I think it inherently uh, it builds respect and trust and teamwork between every member.
Hmm.
I find it's really easy to get into the mindset where you find the player on your team who's not necessarily good at the rest of the game and you just put them on objectives because you don't want them to warrior.
Right.
And it's not, no one's explicitly thinking that, I don't think, but it's a feeling that I've had while I watch games and play games. Um, so I don't know, 2-2 berries, it just, you automatically are working together and there's so many more bumps involved. It's just fun. So I'm really excited to see how teams come together and they work together to make it work, or even 3-1 berries, which Dylan Higgins is a fan of, and it's so crazy intense to watch.
Yeah.
I think it's just more fun than the snail. I hate the snail.
Yeah. I mean,
Snails cause famine.
yeah, I'm in the same boat for sure. I'm very excited to see berries making their way back into the meta in a really big way. So I wanted to jump into some, story time with Alyssa. And we actually had an audience question from Paul. How hard did you have to work to gain these goddess powers that you have? And you can just go through the story with those
That's
two.
Paul. Okay, so long time ago at Bubble Bash 1, I warriored for the tournament, but I had just been starting to queen a little bit. I could hold my own okay. So come time for the mixer, I queened. I was really nervous about it. I didn't do great at first.
Hmm.
Did really poorly at first, but eventually I warmed up. And after I'd had a few drinks, I was getting towards drunk, and I played a game with Helen and Paul, and I was just going along, and I like flew into the queen, and I was like, God, I suck. And then I just kept going, and then I started getting all my hooks, and I don't think I don't think I could stick at the time, but I just started doing all the right things, and I was killing people. And I went through and I did a hook somewhere that was stupid and I shouldn't have done it, and I just killed the queen. And I leaned back and I was like, I'm a goddess. And I kept doing that. Like every time I made a kill, I was like, oh my God, I'm a goddess. And Paul loved it. He ate it up, and he just for months, if I would be playing in a tournament and he would watch it, he'd be like, oh my God, Alyssa, you're a goddess. And I was like, oh, it was very sweet. It was very encouraging. And it was something I could always fall back on if I had a bad day and I
Yeah.
just turn around and do a cool thing and be like, oh yeah, I'm a goddess. I don't do that so much anymore. It takes a lot of work to be on goddess level,
I'm
and
sure.
I think I've been a little lazy.
Wow. Wow. Well, use it or lose it, as they say. Um,
That's true.
uh, so the other story you had deals with the kind of fun versus serious balance that you find on a team. Do you want to share about that?
Yeah. So I've always played the game to have fun. Like I want to be the best or whatever and win.
Hmm.
But like that's like how much weight I give to it. Like I want it, but I would never sacrifice fun for being a try hard winner, and that's a bad way to put it. But if I am playing with a team who isn't willing to have fun, I'm not in a place where I feel like I can or want to win. It doesn't
Hmm.
make a whole ton of sense, but I have to be able to have fun. So a good example of that, I was playing with Cody and Matt, Jason, and Joel. It was my first time winning first place on Queen. It's actually my only time,
Dang.
but soon. Um, anyway, we were doing really well, and we were in a game. It wasn't the last game, I don't think. It was the last game of a set, and we were ahead. And the queen, the enemy queen, was in a position where we had set her up for a good pincer. We'd done so well during that game because they would tell me not to go somewhere, and I'd be like, okay, fine, and I would fly away somewhere else.
Hmm.
So I was playing really safely, but I think like everyone on the team, I set up this air. It was a spot where the queen couldn't get out, and everyone like if they could have stopped and looked at me and said, "Don't do it, Alyssa," they would have, but they couldn't look at me. So they were just like, "Don't do it, Alyssa." And I just went, nah, and I did it. Uh, and it worked. And so we all laughed, which was bad because it's bad to laugh when you win a game in a tournament. It's a little bit rude, but it was a tough set. And it just like being able to like let go and have fun and take risks is
Yeah.
so important for me. Yeah, it empowers me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it sounds like in both these stories, I sense a common thread. You're doing something that you
Mhm.
think is crazy, that you've called stupid, and then winning at the end.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel
Yes,
like this is
which is a
part
bad
of
habit to
just
make.
being a queen, or because I know I do that as well?
Yeah, I think that it's natural to do as queen, and I think that the important thing as a queen is to recognize those moments and know when is okay, because you don't want your whole play style to be based off of risky, crazy moves that could lose your life. Because in my experience, you can be playing a game, you could be in a 10-minute game and be have all your lives, and then you do one stupid thing, and then it's just dominoes, and you lose all your lives
Mhm.
within like a minute. I'm talking from experience, but knowing when to hold back and to let the game progress can be really hard for a queen sometimes. Even queens who know it, everyone does it sometimes. Some more than others, but yeah, there's definitely knowing when to hold back and knowing when like I can do this crazy thing and it's going to work and it's going to look real good, and win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I, for me personally, I feel like doing these crazy things, the spotlight is already on you as a queen. I feel like everyone else is just
This is
doing this
true.
crazy stuff all the time, and just nobody's looking at them.
Yeah. That, and I think that might also be part of why the game has shifted the way it has. With everyone talking about it's boring to play queen now, you have to hold back. It's just a very long, patient game of supporting your team, and it's allowing the rest of the team to do the crazy stuff.
Hmm.
Whether or not this could be a warrior or it could be a berry runner,
Hmm.
because every player now has the tools. The game used to be much simpler, but now every player has the tools to be dangerous. Dylan Higgins was telling a story. I can't remember if it was GDC or it could have been a casual tourney game. He had been warrioring. It hit famine. He died. The queen was reasonably more afraid of him as a runner than as a warrior
Hmm.
because his running is so scary. Um, so opening up the game for the warriors to make those crazy calls, they still shouldn't die, so it's still bad when they die and they mess up, but having a little more of the weight to pull, taking the weight off of the queen and putting it onto the warriors, as putting them in situations where they can pull off those clutch moves.
Hmm.
But people still, I watch the queen 70% of the time during a tournament, but you know.
Yeah, well, I do end up watching my own role a lot as well, whatever it is that
Yeah,
I'm working on at the time.
it's only reason. It's fair.
Yeah. That and I watched the Dusk Hive. What do you think about the Dusk Flood? It's one of my favorite strategies nowadays.
The four berry opener.
Yeah.
Um, Asher loves it. uh, Asher, it's the sweetest thing, and I love watching it work well, especially when it's my team doing it. Um, it's something that I used to like to do on night map, but I feel on dusk it makes more sense these days because the queen opener right now is go through the sides generally,
Hmm.
and so pretty much every other thing a queen can do, if the other team doesn't flood, the queen going over the middle is a complete waste of time. So you kind of just don't do it. But if you do go through the side and they put those berries in, you're in a real tough spot. Uh, and that's another situation where you need your warriors then to come up and pull the weight and be the really good, amazing ledge guard, hold the gates for the warriors who are trying to form. Um, I really like it. Still, even if I lose because of it, I'm like, oh darn, berries! What a bummer.
Yeah.
Berries are coming back. This is so exciting.
What a shame. So if you like the strat, I
Yeah.
expect to see it at your next tournament. What's the next thing you're up to?
Well, now I'm going to have to tell my team that we have to do berry flood on Dusk Map. Uh, are you talking about our upcoming tournament? It's in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What's the
I'm
plan?
playing with an all ladies team.
Oh, all right.
Actually, finally.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I tried in the past to get an all ladies team together, but there wasn't enough cohesion
Hmm.
with play style and whatnot. So I finally got an all ladies team together. We're gonna dress up a little fancy. It'll be really cute. And everyone's working on their roles. I am gonna talk about my team right now. That's okay, right?
No, yeah, do it for sure.
I'm gonna fan a little bit. Um, I can't talk about it too much though, because people might know what we're gonna try and do. Um, Haley's gonna speed warrior, which I'm really excited about.
Hmm.
Aura is going to be our defense, and Desi and Julie are switching around and filling in the gaps there with kind of what we need. Julie's a really good shot caller, which is really exciting. So when she's on the snail, she's really good about keeping an eye on the team. But I, as a queen, am working on being a team leader. I tend to not try and tell people what to do. I want them to play the game how they want to play the game, but that doesn't always work very well. So I'm going to be working on making decisions for strategies and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So does
absolutely.
that answer your question?
Oh yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I love hearing people gush over their own teams. And I really do wish you the best for your upcoming tournament.
Thank you.
So on that note, I'm just gonna ask you: is there anything you want to tell everyone out there? Just words of wisdom, public service announcement, whatever you want to say. What do you want to tell the
Yeah,
people?
I think I have two comments that kind of go together.
Hmm.
So Bubble Bash 3 is going to be here in October. We're really excited. So I hope everyone comes out to play and have a good time and be good at the game. And with that in mind, like work hard, play hard. Portland's really excited, and we're already working hard to step up the game a little bit.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone else is doing the same. But of course, keep having fun with the game. Yeah, I would say work hard, play hard. That's my little go get them.
Yeah,
Except
one
hopefully
of
we
my
win.
biggest regrets is definitely missing out on Camp KQ, so I'm very, very excited to come out for Bumble Bash 3 and see Portland finally.
It'll be really nice. It's going to be hard to make it as wild as camp because there's going to be less sunshine. And I moved out of the pool house, so there's not going to be a pool party unless y'all want to crowdfund for a heater that will work really well in October. But don't.
Just
It
don't.
would be cool. It'd be a lot of money. So yeah, so no cool pool party, but we still will have lots of awesome and exciting things for everyone to do, and it's going to be a really good tournament.
Awesome. Well, it's been such a pleasure and an honor to chat with you today. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. I was really happy to be on.
Absolutely. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be seeing you for the last episode next week with DeMoss Shaw right before coronation. So tune in, and we'll see you next week.